In December 1975, a young couple named Kathy and George Lutz moved into a large Dutch colonial house at 112 Ocean Avenue, Amityville, New York. The house was beautiful, cheap, spacious, with a boathouse and a view of the river. But there was a reason it was cheap. A year earlier, a young man named Ronald DeFeo Jr. had murdered his entire family in that house while they slept. 6 members of his own family shot one by one in their beds in the middle of the night. Neighbors said they heard nothing, not a scream, not a gunshot. As if the house itself had swallowed the sound. The Lutzes knew this history. They even had the local priest, Father Mancuso, come and bless the house before they moved in. But as he stood in the small upstairs room, the sewing room, sprinkling holy water, a voice rasped out of nowhere. "Get out." Not a whisper, a command. Father Mancuso felt an invisible force strike his hand, and his palm began to blister. He left immediately and never returned. In the days after, he developed a fever so violent his own doctors couldn't explain it. The Lutz family moved in anyway. For the first few nights, everything seemed fine. Then the cold began. Not ordinary cold, an unnatural, bone-deep cold that no heater could fix. George would wake up at exactly 3:15 every night. He never knew why that specific time mattered, until later, when someone told him that was the approximate hour the DeFeo murders had happened. Kathy started having nightmares about the murdered family, seeing their faces clearly, even though she'd never seen photographs of them. Small objects moved on their own. Doors that were locked at night stood wide open in the morning. A babysitter, left alone with the children for just an hour, found herself locked inside a closet by a force she couldn't see, screaming until George came home and pried the door open. Then came the flies. In the dead of winter, when there should have been no insects anywhere, swarms of flies would appear in the sewing room, the same room where Father Mancuso had heard the voice. George found green slime oozing from the walls and ceilings, a thick, foul-smelling substance that no plumber could explain. Their 5-year-old daughter began talking to someone named Jody. Jody, she said, was a pig, a demon with glowing red eyes that watched her through the window at night. George saw those same red eyes staring back at him from the darkness outside more than once, low to the ground, unblinking. George himself began to change. A calm, steady man, he found himself waking every night at 3:15 to walk the house, drawn down stairs as if summoned. He'd stand in the living room, freezing, staring at nothing, feeling something else looking back. He started to resemble, in the photographs Kathy took, in the mirror he avoided, the face of Ronald DeFeo Jr. himself. One night, George went down to the boathouse and found cloven hoofprints in the snow, fresh ones, leading nowhere, as if whatever made them had simply stopped existing partway through, or risen straight up into the air. By the 28th day, the family had had enough. They packed only what they could carry, left almost everything else behind, furniture, clothes, toys, and drove away in the middle of the night, refusing to look back at the house in the rearview mirror. They never returned. Not for their belongings, not for anything. After they left, investigators and paranormal researchers entered the house. Some reported the same cold spots. Some heard footsteps on the stairs when no one was there. A film crew shooting a documentary later claimed their equipment failed inexplicably inside the house, and one crew member said he felt hands pushing him from behind in an empty room. To this day, people argue about how much of the Amityville story was true and how much was exaggeration. But one fact isn't disputed. 6 members of a family really did die in that house, shot in their beds while they slept, and whatever happened to the Lutz family after, real or not, was enough to make them abandon a house full of their possessions and never come back. The house still stands today, though the address has been changed and the famous quarter-moon windows have been altered, so that people can no longer find 112 Ocean Avenue simply by looking for that face-like structure everyone once recognized. Some say that was intentional, not just to stop tourists, but to make it harder to find.